Now, before beginning this review, I'd like to talk a little about the WGA and SAG strikes going on right now, which I am in full support of. If I wasn't in South Carolina, I would be out there right now supporting them. Even though I am not part of the WGA or the SAG unions, I'm part of nothing. I'm just a guy that does reviews that wants to be a film director one day. And so obviously the business side is very scary right now, what Hollywood is wanting to do with future films and projects. It's very scary, honestly, and so I am in full support of them doing the strike so in the future we can have better quality pay and a lot of stuff that we can do in Hollywood and the love of movie making. With that being said, I am just a person that does reviews. I do plan to continue doing reviews with new movies being released, but if you have an issue with that, I understand. I have a full support of you being mad at me for reviewing these movies, but again, I'm not part of the union. One day, maybe. But for now, I do plan to continue doing reviews. But if you have an issue with that, I understand and I fully support you being mad at me. Honestly, I do. I really do. But I would like to continue making this channel grow and this community. Anyway, guys, let's get on with the review.
Here's Johnny. My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. Expecto Patronum!
Oppenheimer stars Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, and Robert Downey Jr., and is about the story of an American scientist, J. Robert Oppenheimer, and his role in the development of the atomic bomb. From director Christopher Nolan, that name alone made this movie one of my most anticipated of the entire year. I remember a year ago seeing the teaser for this movie and just being excited because I love Christopher Nolan. I truly believe he's one of my top 10, top 5 directors of all time. He's very inspiring to me, and for a lot of people, he is too. And we just love his movies. He's one of those directors, his name alone brings in box office. So now we have a 3-hour movie about the making of the atomic bomb, and the story did not intrigued me, but Nolan intrigued me, and this cast intrigued me, and the teasers were very interesting, and so I finally got to see it at an early screening tonight in IMAX, not 70mm, which is so sad, and I can tell you this to me is definitely one of, if not, Nolan's best movies for sure. There are so many positives in this movie, but let's begin with Christopher Nolan's direction, which as a young filmmaker, it's just inspiring to watch. What he does with his performers in the storytelling of the atomic bomb, giving the bomb itself its own scary horror character of this thing is scary, it needs to be built in a very fast pace before this war gets to a point where this is being used against us. So we need to be built right now. So we need you, Cillian Murphy, who's playing Oppenheimer, to build this bomb and get it ready. And Christopher Nolan, what he does with the camera, the blocking, and just the sound mixing, with what he's doing with everything, just watching a movie, he creates a movie-going theater experience about the creation of a bomb. And it's enthralling and interesting. It's a very long movie, but for me, the pacing never came to me. I never looked at my phone, and that last hour, I was literally grasping my hand and like putting it above my mouth, and I was sitting there intense. My heart was bumping fast. The score, Ludwig's score, is so good. I cannot wait to listen to this score again. I listened to a little bit on the ride home in my car. It is so good, and in context with the movie, it's even better. The sound design, I know a lot of people are going to be saying, can you hear the movie? Is it like Tenet? For my theater experience, I could hear the movie. I could. There's a very loud moment, especially very towards the end. It's very loud, but I think the sound design is 100% amazing. I love it. The costume design, the set locations, the production, everything technical and directing and writing and dialogue. It's just behind the scenes stuff. Nolan knows how to make a movie, and he makes a movie. And the crazy part is, he said there was no CGI used in this movie. When you see this movie, you're like, how? Besides everything technical and beautiful looking of this movie, this cast, I mean everyone everyone is giving it their A game because they're in a Christopher Nolan movie. And a lot of people are going to say, well, all these big stars in this movie kind of feel wasted and everything. Gary Oldman's in this movie. Very, very, very small part, but he's in the movie. I had no idea he was in the movie. He's very good, but honestly, I think any actor who was just working today, who was in movies, if they get a chance to be in a Nolan movie, take the role. Like Josh Peck, very small role, good in the role. Dennis Quaid's son, Jack Quaid, very small role in the movie. The guy who plays Roderick is in this movie. Florence Pugh, very small role, very integral to the movie. I wish they used a little bit of more of her, but with what she's doing with Oppenheimer's character is very important to the character. Emily Blunt, who plays the wife, and very much the love and support of his character and bringing him into the world of humanity, which was so important for his character. But let's talk about it. Cillian Murphy, my God. I mean, good for him for finally getting a starring role in a movie, and he kills it. I truly believe at this moment he should and probably will be nominated for Best Actor at the Oscars next year. I mean, he's amazing. What he's doing with this character and the story of the bomb, there's a lot going through his head and pressure, and he brings it out for the audience. And when we go back in time to the black and white stuff, which was filmed amazing, you get a lot of Robert Downey Jr. in this movie, and I will say it, we all know him as freaking Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. is a damn good actor, and this movie might get him a supporting actor nomination, which excites me. He is so good in this movie. I can't tell, I don't want to spoil anything, because the trailers have barely shown you the movie. When he's in this movie, he makes his scenes stealing because of him. He is so good in this movie. Hell, Matt Damon's in this movie. He's a very important part. He's also kind of more of a comedic relief in a few scenes, but when he brings in the intensity and the pressure of the character and what the story's going towards, he's very good in this movie. Again, everyone in this movie is good. There's so many people I want to talk about, but I want to talk about the highlights, which is Cillian Murphy. Just go ahead, like, seriously, man, like, he deserves this, he deserves a starring role, I'm glad he did. But by the end of this movie, when it was over, like I said, that last hour, last 30 minutes, I'm just sucked into this movie. I'm sucked into this movie. The movie theater experience with this movie is the prime example why you go to the movie theaters. This is truly a 3-hour epic movie with great storytelling, amazing camera work, great character development, and it's gonna bring in a conversation. And I don't want to get more into the story of why, but with the humanity on the line and what they're doing, and Oppenheimer's character decision making in this movie might cause people not to like his character. And you know what? As I don't know how true to the story of his character he's doing, I don't know the entire story of this movie, like the real life events, but through watching this movie, I was enthralled, I was entertained, and for a 3-hour movie, I never felt the runtime. Oppenheimer is truly going to go down as one of those movies you have to see in a theater, the biggest screen possible, and what this movie's doing with the just mankind and human nature and what they have to deal with. I think this movie is very more important than it needs to be, and I'm glad it is, because it left an impact, and I walked out of this theater with a big smile on my face, and I said, Christopher Nolan, you might have written your best script, you might have directed your best movie. I'm going to give Oppenheimer an A+. This movie deserves it. It's just what it does with just movie-going experience, character story, the creation of movie. Like, this is what the movies are supposed to be like. And for me, again, it's just so inspiring because I'm learning these past few years, just learning more and more about movies and the business side. And this movie is just like the definition of what I'm like, hey, Hollywood, here, we don't need the superhero movies all the time. This is what we want. Good storytelling movies. But hey, some of you are going to disagree with me because, again, there was someone that I saw this movie with, and he thought it was very boring, but he definitely thinks Christopher Nolan was great, but he thought the movie was boring. So, hope you guys enjoyed this early movie review, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.